This is the 1st of November, 1994. Today is my first day of writing the new Star Wars series. Took my kids to school this morning. My oldest daughter was sick all night. I got no sleep whatsoever. This is my life. This is the hole I live in, a cave I hibernated. I have beautiful, pristine yellow tablets, ready to go. Nice fresh blocks of pencils. I'm all set. All I need is an idea.
Hello Figgy Fiends and Collectors, this is me, Daniel East 1000, back again with our Star Wars The Black Series figure review. This time looking at another exclusive, celebrating the 50th anniversary of Lucasfilm, and what better way to do that than Hasbro to make the creator himself. George Lucas in Stormtrooper disguise. This is very much in keeping with a previous figure that came out during the Saga collection for the 3 3/4 inch scale line of figures, which featured a Stormtrooper George Lucas in similar vintage style packaging. So naturally, Star Wars The Black Series figure collectors can finally have the creator in their collections in 6-inch scale. As always, before we crack the figure open and take a look at him, let's have a look at the packaging. Now, as you can see, you've got the 50th anniversary logo at the top there, the retro Star Wars logo, the iconography there of Luke and Leia, George Lucas in Stormtrooper disguise. Although I would have really liked it if they called him TK1138, as in THX1138, a little reference to the first feature film he made, but alas, we get that. Stormtroopers on the packaging there. George Lucas, FIGGIE, and again, that price point though, of which we will definitely talk about later. Of course, as it's in a bubble, there's nothing really going on the sides there, but if we go on the reverse, you've got a lovely picture of George Lucas with a Stormtrooper there, on set of A New Hope. A bit of a bio on the back there of the figure and what it's celebrating. 50 years of Lucasfilm, along with a timeline of media. At the bottom there, as always, you've got that lovely legal garb. And well, that's the packaging itself. Honestly, I think it's slightly lazy. I think if you have the Saga collection 3 3/4 inch version of this, you're gonna maybe not be too fussed to pick this one up. I'll go into reasons what I think they could have done with this figure as we get into the review, but in terms of the packaging particularly, I think definitely keep it as the retro style. That's fine, even though I'm a little bit sick to my back teeth of seeing this style of packaging. A controversial opinion, I know, but I would have just loved to have seen, rather than 2 Stormtroopers, maybe a picture of George Lucas on set, or just something. Answer on a postcard with your opinions on that, guys. But anyways, enough of my ranting. Let's crack this figure open and take a peek. And here we have the figure itself out of the packaging in our hands to look at. This is nothing too amazing to ring home about at face value. It's a Stormtrooper sculpt for the most part. Nothing particularly new about it other than the fact that there is a new head sculpt and the helmet is removable. It's not a glued in head jobby. You can actually sink the helmet on top of the head and it'll sit on there relatively nicely. But I'm not too sure why you'd want to do that unless you want to do a little party trick as you go your friends around. They're like, oh, you've got a lot of Stormtroopers. Like, actually, one of them isn't just a Stormtrooper. And then they're like, really? And you just go, oh yeah, watch this. And just give me a minute. It's a George Lucas Stormtrooper. Wouldn't you know? That's quite fun. That's quite a fun little party trick, little tidbit to show people when they're looking at your collection, if you do wish, that you've got a Georgie Lucas Stormtrooper. And that head sculpt is absolutely phenomenal. Mixture of a youthful George with his sort of more rugged, aged look, and he just looks really sweet. I love the white dry brushing on that grey on his hair and his beard as well. Just brings it out really nicely. And you can tell from a mile off, that's George Lucas. Other than the helmet, of which, like I said, is removable, he comes with the blaster. The only thing to know about this blaster is it is more based off of the Rogue One Stormtrooper blaster, just notably because of the enlarged ammo clip just on the top there, and also the sight which is featured as well. It's fine, it's not even really a gripe at all, it's just a thing to note. That's really it. I mean, it's just George Lucas Stormtrooper. If you haven't seen my review on the Stormtrooper figure, then you can check it out in a slightly more detail up there. Articulation is effectively the same. He has a ball jointed head, a ball joint in the neck so he can look really far down. It's quite a forlorn looking George. Ball jointed shoulders. You've also got butterfly joints in the shoulders as well, so you can get some in and out motions with that. Ball jointed elbows, ball jointed wrists, ball jointed torso, ball jointed hips, swivels at the tops of the thighs, ball hinged knees, ball hinged ankles with the rocker joints. So you can get this guy in some really, really good poses. I think for me, what would have been really nice to have seen was just some additional little tidbit accessories. Maybe an imitative script with a New Hope on it, a camera, maybe even a director's chair for him to have a nice little sit down on, or a clapperboard. I'm not too sure, but I think they could have just included some little tidbits for old George Lucas, just not make him a Stormtrooper. With that being said though, if they were going to go down that route, I'd probably want them to lean more into what Marvel Legends did with the Stan Lee figure that they made. Except with George having him in his casual get-up with that checkered shirt, jacket, combo kind of jeans look. But nonetheless, this is George Lucas' Stormtrooper. It's quite fun, it's quite quirky. I do have to make the tiny little gripe of the price point though, of which again, he's leaning more towards the deluxe action figure price point. This is not. This is a standard figure, and again feels like you're paying towards the likeness above anything else. I'm not too fond of these slowly increasing price points, but to have a Georgie Lucas in my collection, I'm really happy to have this. I'd love them to do a Kathleen Kennedy, maybe even a Rian Johnson one would be quite fun, just to rub up those fans. But this, George Yell, if you are a Star Wars fan, you are definitely going to want this. I think that brings me into why this figure is so important to me, and why this franchise is so important to me as well. George Lucas was someone who, when he started making Star Wars, very few people had belief in him to make this weird sci-fi film a success. No one thought it was going to be a success. A New Hope was teeming with production issues, and probably wouldn't have been made without George Lucas' persistence and the rest of the cast and the crew, as well as some surprising allies along the way. Without Star Wars, the way we make films, the way we tell stories, and not just that, but the way we market them as well. George Lucas was one of the first few people to take advantage of a toy tie-in license with Star Wars, reaping no real benefits from the actual selling of the film, but the marketing rights to the franchise. Lest we not forget the production company set up with Lucasfilm, Skywalker Sound, ILM, LucasArts. To get a sense of it back then, before I was even alive, to see what it has become now to so many people is so important. George Lucas was the creator of this universe, and yes, he did sell that on to Disney, and we have had numerous new films and media brought to us by different creators. And it's important to remember these creators are just as inspired as us with George's creative vision, and I look forward to what they bring to the table for us and future generations to come. But it all started with this man, and his legacy lives through us.
How worried are you that the critics are not going to like this new movie?
Oh, I'm not worried at all. They haven't liked any of them, really. And they especially haven't liked the last two. So,
well, exactly.
Hey, you know, I mean, it can't get any worse.
Yeah, but come on. I mean, when they go after your writing, your directing, it has to hurt.
Oh, it always hurts.
Did you not say ever to yourself, well, maybe they had a point with this or with that?
The point is, it's like if you paint your house white and somebody comes along, well, that should be a greenhouse. Well, fine, but I wanted to paint it white. I don't think there's anything wrong with painting it white. I don't think there's anything wrong with me for painting it white. Maybe it should be a greenhouse. But I didn't want it to be a greenhouse. I wanted it to be a White House. To create images is always a challenge. Digital magic.